Welcome here, good morning, and welcome to Being Your Own CEO. This is a success team that gets together once a week at this time on Tuesday morning to share information, to support one another, to help us all enact positive changes in our businesses. We are all solo entrepreneurs, and we're hoping that if you're watching that you will add any questions about the topic this morning into the notes section on the event page. So the first thing we usually do is have everyone introduce themselves briefly and say what they do and give their name, etc. So I'm going to start on the right of my screen, and I've just learned that it's usually the opposite to the viewer. So I'm saying that Nathan is on the right-hand side of my screen, but I'm betting that the viewers out there see him on the left-hand side. So Nathan, go ahead.
Oh, that's interesting, because as a viewer I see myself on the right-hand side, so there you go. Yeah, my name is Nathan Siegel, and for the last number of years I've been working as a freelance technical writer. I'm working on transitioning out of that. The major project I've been working on is a site called How to End Your Suffering, where I show people how to undo the thought patterns that cause suffering, and that's what I really want to be doing. And if any of you have some spectacular ideas about how I can make that into more of a reality, I would love to hear about it. That's a topic for another discussion, I'm sure, that I would like to hear about.
Right. So thank you, Nathan. And the next person is Jay.
Hi, my name is Jay, and my website is affiliateresources.org, and I help people get started in the world of online business.
Thank you, Jay. And Craig.
Well, hi, my name is Craig. I'm one of the people that Jay got started with online business, and I'm a local consultant. I help businesses in my local area get online and get their sites ranking and bringing customers to their door.
Thank you, Craig. And by the way, I don't know if I'm the only one that's hearing. There seems to be sort of a buzzing sound this morning, so I don't know whether this is a Google thing or a my computer thing.
I'm hearing it here.
It's loud. Nathan, I missed your website, so if you can give that again in a little while, that'd be great.
Yeah. So Cheryl, how would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, I'll do it the traditional way. So I'm Cheryl Ann Webster. I'm an artist and speaker, and basically I facilitate individuals and groups on really shifting their focus and shaping their lives, often focused around body image as the foundation for everything else we do. CherylAnnWebster.com.
Right on. Thank you, Cheryl Ann. And finally, I'll introduce my business. I'm a work style lifestyle coach, and I love helping solo entrepreneurs find direction, stay motivated, and build systems that help to support and promote their business. And I like to emphasize the use of Google Plus is a great place for people who are doing business with other business people. And so I like to promote this Being Your Own CEO, and I also have a 3-part course called Beginner's Google for Business. So thank you all for joining us this morning. And Nathan, do you want to try and see if you can give your website name again so that Cheryl would catch it?
Yeah, sure. Well, actually, I typed it into the comment tracker and put it up there, so I don't know if anybody can see that.
Oh, no, I think you probably put it into the chat.
Oh, anyway, the site is called howtoendyoursuffering.com.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Right.
That's a good thing.
Say again?
I was saying that that's a good domain name.
Thank you.
Really says what it is, for sure.
I've had a
So,
certain comment.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Oh, I've had an amount of feedback. I had a different domain, slightly different, and some people said to me, you need to personalize that a bit more. And as soon as I did that, most people were happy, not everybody. Some people still think I should change it, but it's like enough. I'll start somewhere and stick with it.
So, did anyone have anything in particular they would like to raise this morning before we dive into our planned topic?
No, the topic's ideal. Oh, Jay's got his hand up.
We were talking about mobile for the past couple of weeks, and I've noticed a significant change in the what we call the SERPs, which stands for Search Engine Result Pages. And I've noticed a lot of sites that are not mobile friendly go down, and a lot of sites that are mobile friendly or have kept up with the trend of staying mobile friendly have either maintained their rank or indeed gone up. So I think it's exuberantly important that you make sure that your sites are mobile friendly. I mean, assuming you're in the business of wanting to get customers through search.
Yes, I've noticed a big change in a number of sites that I may have visited in the past, and noticed that 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 site was very difficult to read from my smartphone or whatever, and there were some immediate changes after Google's announcement. I've noticed a big change. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing how a user experience on a website can really change, the perspective of how you look at that business. Right?
It's true. Absolutely. I see we have a guest just arrived, and I have to admit that I'm not absolutely certain how to pronounce your name.
Hello, you can call me Julian.
Julian. Okay. I thought maybe it might be sort of that way. So, are you going to?
It's not the exact Romanian pronunciation, but it's okay.
Okay. That makes it easier for me.
Yes.
So, well, welcome here. We were just introducing ourselves. I'm sorry you missed the intros, but how would you like to introduce yourself?
I can say a thing or two, and you can ask me more questions. So one thing I do is I am the communications manager of a language service provider. That is, we provide translation and writing services mainly, and I'm interested in your topic. I use the internet a lot, and I know Google's suite of applications or services, and I'm interested both in business communication and generally in communication. Actually, I'd like to start a second global business, which would have among its goals to improve global communication. Of course, only one team cannot have a huge impact, but I really am hopeful. I feel that with this age and tools, in this age and with the current tools and the current situation and needs, it would be worth pursuing this goal of improving, among other things, global communication.
Well, and certainly we're noticing on Google Plus that there does seem to be a lot more back and forth and communication between people from various countries, which I've not noticed on any of the other platforms. So I think that it's pretty interesting to see how we are, everybody's playing with this. Of course, the big stumbling block are the time differences.
Yes, this is my experience too, and I admit that it has been a bit more difficult to schedule calls with Australians. But anyway, I've spoken with people from all continents.
Uh-huh. That's good.
So what time where you are?
He's in Romania, I think, right?
Yeah, I realized that, but I don't know what time zone it is.
Yes, I didn't
7:30
get
in
the
Romania.
question, but yes, I live in Romania.
Is it Bun venut? Is that how you say welcome? Bun venut, I think, in Romanian. Either that or I just said something bad.
Bun venit.
Bun venit, there you go.
Thank you.
Right on. So we were this morning. We were going to discuss the use of online scheduling, and I had asked if there were any issues or any comments, and Jay had chimed in that some things that he's been noticing since Google made the big change for mobile. So we had a couple of weeks ago, we had had a conversation here about the importance and of websites being responsive and the impact that it was going to have for companies if they're not responsive. So we were just chatting about what we're noticing. So, but Jay, I might say that when I did a search for my own company from my cell phone, it didn't come up. And my site is responsive, so I've obviously got some work to do.
Right. Well, what might be happening is, even though your site is responsive, there might be some errors created with the content that you have, or maybe you have an image or a video. There's several little factors that could be playing here, where, like, if you don't have the dimensions of the image, Google Mobile doesn't really know how to scale that image, so it just leaves it alone. Google actually has a free mobile checker, so you can just, if you search Google free mobile checker, it should come up in the first result. I'll find it actually for you. And you simply have to put in your domain name, and from there it'll tell you, hey, your site's mobile friendly, or it will show you the errors that are happening. And
Thank you for that.
Go from there. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I do appreciate that, because that's it's very important. But I'm very much aware that I need to do some SEO now that I've got my site reasonably stable. So that's my next chore.
Mm-hmm.
So this morning we were going to explore the whole idea of scheduling applications and what their value is and how to make use of them, etc. So I must admit that I've been sort of thinking about that for my own website, and it just, I guess it came up in our conversation last time about using mobile. So I've been doing a little bit of online searching, and I became totally overwhelmed. There are so many online scheduling apps and all kinds of apps that evaluate.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of gave up because there were so. I mean, I even started with creating a spreadsheet with all the ideas, all the pieces that are important to me, and so forth. And so I got down to 2, 4, 6, about 8 or 10 of them, and then I gave up because there were just so many. But the one that stood out for me, really stood out for me, was affiliated with Square. Is everybody familiar with what Square is?
Yeah.
Yes. If you mean the payment service.
Yeah. Yes. It's the little gizmo that sits on that plugs into your phone and so forth.
Yeah.
So what I discovered is that the American version has just implemented a scheduler, and but then when I went to the site, something popped up that said, you're on the American site, you should be on the Canadian site. So I went to the Canadian site, and of course the scheduler wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back to the American site and put a comment in, or a question about whether it was going to be available for Canadians. And the response I got back was, it's in the works, we're working on it. So, but I've been looking at Square and talking to various people about it because it has a number of features that are attractive to me. So, so that's where my research ended up, and I emailed the Square people back and said, don't take too long.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to respond to that when it comes to finding something that, like, I love Square. I use it all the time, and but I do notice that the Canadian version is behind, like dramatically behind from the US version in terms of product development. And you know, we're in a global world, so I personally think that, you know, just because we're physically located on a different piece of soil, even though we're in the same, you know, continent, it's hard to you know, get that idea of why would you develop something just for the U.S. before you develop something for Canada. Right. But my point is, you know, when it comes to looking for any kind of product or service like online scheduling, I find that it's better to look for a company that solely focuses on that particular development, as opposed to, oh, let's add another shelf space to our overall drawer of suite of products. Because then, you know, they're only going to be working on it for a fraction of their, you know, of their time, as opposed to a company that completely focuses on just that one product, you know. So was it jack of all trades, master of none kind of mentality? So
good point. That's very, very good point to think about.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a lot of these applications that easily and seamlessly integrate with, you know, whatever it is that you need it to integrate. So, you know, whenever I'm choosing something, I always do a needs analysis. So what do I need this product or service to do, and then go searching and then check off what, you know, pros and cons kind of thing. So.
Well, I look for it based on what's going to be the least annoying.
Well, I know that.
I was looking for a CRM, a customer relation management program, a while back, and I do some of my scheduling through there. And I was so frustrated with the number that were available, the erratic pricing, just everything. Mm-hmm. So finally, I was being my usual sarcastic self, and I typed into Google just something less annoying. And lo and behold, lessannoyingcrm.com.
Really?
And loved it. Immediately they let me look at the tutorials without signing up. I just want to see a tutorial to see whether it's going to annoy me or not. And of course, the play on words won me over anyway, because they always finish their tutorials with "Thanks for being a less annoying client," and it's affordable. And so there's a good scheduling in there. Now, it's not scheduling necessarily, so if Lowland wanted to make an appointment with me today, it's not quite that straightforward. But it is in the sense of, if I've spoken to Lowland and I know I need to get a proposal in 2 weeks, I can put it in there, assign it to a staff member. It's going to send me an email of my tasks every day. And of course, straight away in there, our email correspondence is going into Lowland's file, and all kinds of yummy things. It truly is less annoying, and for $10 a month, you can't go wrong.
So lessannoying.com?
Lessannoyingcrm.com.
Ah,
The customer relation management.
okay.
And they do say we don't do all the bells and whistles. We don't do, it really is for a small base business. It's got the sales funnel. It's got all these kinds of things for me. But the scheduling part ties in with my iCalendar. I color code everything. That's important to me, so I can glance at the calendar and know whether if it's red, it's priority, because that's a speaking engagement, that's going to take prep and so on. But it allows me to sort of put in there the parts of the project that need to be done by certain times, whether they're hard, fast deadlines by a client or soft deadlines that I put in for myself so that I can be prepared. So I blend less annoying CRM with iCalendar, lots of color coding, and forgive me everyone, I still use paper. I have it right here, and the more I write it, the more, and I love crossing it out when it's done.
Well, I mean, that's true. A lot of the sites that I looked at, they do include CRM, scheduling, and payment. And of course, the big thing for me, the most important thing for me, for any scheduler, is that it integrates with Google Calendar. That would be the #1 priority for me. But I think what started all of this is that Sue Ferreira is using a site called Acuity Scheduling, I think it was called. And don't mind me, I've got both my magnifying glass, my list up here. The thing printer printed this off so small I can't read it. So I guess it was trying to put it all on one page. So and that was one that did all 3 of those things, that would take payments and link with your Google Calendar and do some CRM as well. And that was $10 a month. But some of the sites that I looked at are extremely expensive.
Well, just going back to something Jay said earlier, how's that for a domain name?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Can't remember how to spell it. What is it again, Lowland?
AcuityScheduling.com.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how to spell schedule and acuity. It's like the word exercise. I have such a spelling problem with the word exercise.
Maybe that's their way of narrowing down their clients.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we only want intelligent people.
If you don't need to be less annoying, you're fine. Sorry, carry on.
We need to teach you.
I actually use Google Calendar for most of my scheduling stuff. When I'm handling tasks and things, and if I want to share things back and forth, I'll often use Trello, which is more of a task manager than a calendaring. But I've also noticed this week that Google isn't even compatible with itself in the scheduling, because it decided that it wouldn't put in any of my events anymore into my schedule, which it was doing last week, but it changed its mind.
Somebody must have scheduled vacation time for you without telling you.
Something like that.
I must admit, I use Trello in a very big way as well. So, but Craig, you were mentioning last time that one of a site that you use the Google Calendar on your site for people to be able to schedule things. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, yeah, I'm a member of a search and rescue team. I train dogs, and I'm the webmaster for Western New York Search Dogs. And so I've converted the site over to a WordPress site, and we have a certain section of our site that is for team members, and we schedule things like, you know, team campouts, team meetings. I haven't been able to talk them into Google Hangouts for team meetings yet, but and we have a biweekly training, and I'm able to keep track of where we went and you know, give people notifications that the location of the training, basically, because we train all over the country here, usually within 100 miles of home, but we're widespread from here to Buffalo. So anyway, I created a specific Google Calendar using the team's account, and then I embedded that calendar on the website so that it automatically updates. You go in, you change the calendar, it updates on the website. And it's very nice for people because they can, you know, there are 4 people that are the team managers that have a way to log into that account, so they can change the calendar, and then everyone else can see it.
Mm-hmm. So that works. That can work for people who are all able to go in, are members, etc. So, which is not quite the same as what most schedulers do, in that anybody can just go to the schedule and put in a take a time slot and schedule themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to be able to see the integration between Google Forms, like within Google Drive, and the integration of filling out a form and launching that into a certain Google Calendar, which essentially would solve the issue of the scheduler, you know, and that would be awesome. I mean, maybe there's some sort of application or add-on that can do that. I mean, honestly, I haven't searched for that, but you know, if that was available, that would be just, you know, a really easy solution, assuming you use Google Calendar for your calendars, or even if you're using like Calendar on your Mac, you can integrate Google Calendar into your feed, Gmail feed. So, and that's what I do.
Yes,
so I see Julian has something he would like to add here.
I'm interested in what you've just said. I do use Google services, but I remember that when I tried to let people choose a slot directly in my Google Calendar, a message appeared that told me, or I read this somewhere, that we need to share calendars with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So whichever person should do that, maybe they first need to be in touch by email, or somehow our Google account should be in touch, so that I mean, my calendar is shared, and I don't know. I'll try to look into it. I'm as interested, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be just a great solution.
I was able to share the calendar publicly in order to make it visible to everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The password.
Julian, I think I can explain a part of what you ran into. If you have a Google Apps account, which really what that means is a Google Apps account is it's a paid service, and it allows many people to have an email and to be able to share things within a company.
Yeah, intranet.
I understand what you've just said. I'm referring actually to any person who would like a slot in my calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I wanted to add is that when you said that you've looked for a scheduling application and you found so many, and it's taken much of your time and energy. When I see this, because I've been through this, I've spent a lot of time. That's why I know many applications now. But what I perceive is that I should help, for instance, in this case, you to save some energy and choose the best application, and also share this information with others so that you can enjoy it with others, with people who you are interested sorry. And I'm two thoughts at the same time. So. And I actually, because I would actually like to do this in an organized and serious way, so that I mean, together with other people, create something like a website, a service that would inform people about what the best applications for certain things are, with simple to understand descriptions, and at the same time, this team should be available for people to call in and share their needs, so that we can counsel them, so that, I don't know, in 1 hour or a couple of hours, you've made the decision and you can start working, and that decision can be final. I mean, for 2 or 3 years, you can use the same application until you need to change that decision, but it would imply many savings. For instance, the person saves $10, another person saves $200 in this. So I'm really interested in savings, in helping people move forward faster, because if you multiply this by 1 million people, then we'll have savings of $1 million in an economy, or in the global economy, generated by only a small team. And on this pattern, we could actually, I mean, I'd like to do something good for many people, according to the resources that we'll have.
I think you've hit on one good thing there, is don't take too long scheduling, because otherwise if you have to start scheduling in your scheduling,
Right.
it's like that when you set up any new app or any new service that's supposed to benefit the business, if it takes, at one point I was hiring somebody to organize my CRM, and I thought, this is ridiculous, clearly it's too complicated or it's too time consuming, so this is going to be an ongoing process. So I think that's just a simple way of wrapping it up, is, don't take too long scheduling your scheduling.
Right.
It's a great point.
Yeah. So, Jay, I have a feeling that you might have something to say about what Julian just was suggesting.
Oh, could you read my body language?
No, I just had a great big guess.
Yeah. Can I have the conch now?
Yes, you can have the conch.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm an adopter of simplicity is bliss. Not only for myself as to run the business, but also for clients or even potential clients. The last thing that you want to do is have something where it's going to overcomplicate the way you communicate or attract your clients. So, and the whole online scheduling thing I think is fantastic, but you also have to ask yourself, well, does the volume of your business propagate the investment of some sort of online scheduling? I mean, you can make it scalable where you can literally start with just an online forum on your website, schedule a time to meet with us, and then just put some sort of disclaimer at the bottom saying, this does not actually reserve your time, but this is merely, so you can set it up so that gives like dates and time intervals, and then from there you can communicate back with the client or potential client, and then work that into your schedule. So that is obviously one extra step that you have to do as the business owner, where you have to communicate back and forth potential client, and then schedule that into your app or your calendar or whatever, and then go from there. But what it does do is it gives you easy communication with that potential client where they actually haven't paid you any money yet. So it kind of gets you in that funnel, in that process. Now, if you want to automate that, you need to ask yourself, well, do I need to automate it because I'm getting too busy scheduling these things? Then you can take it to the next level and look at investing into an actual scheduler where it shows your schedule, on your website or something like that. But I think the number one goal in terms of getting clients is communication. You want to make it really easy for them to communicate with you. And, that could be with social media, through a web form, a telephone number, but it has to be the path to the least, path of least resistance. From there, then you can do, become king of the living room and then start your verbal magic and talk to your potential client.
I'm very interested in this. If I may something now, maybe somebody else's turn.
No, it's all right.
I think start with a web form on your site. Start with some sort of easy form. Name, email, phone number. What do you want? Send. And then, when do you want to talk? What's the best time to talk to you, right? Mm-hmm. And then it kind of weeds out the people who want to just play with your scheduler and stuff like that. Like yesterday, today I'm going to my first yoga class. It's actually called Yoga Therapy, and I scheduled it yesterday. They have their website has an online scheduler, and I actually tried to do it on my phone, and it wasn't mobile responsive. So I had to squeeze it up and do all those sorts of things. It was a horrible user experience. And then I needed to register for their proprietary app, so that I could integrate that. Like, oh my God, Fortunately, the demand of the service outweighed the annoyance of the application. Right, so I got rid of my phone, went onto my desktop, and actually scheduled the appointment. But there were so many barriers that I had to pass to get that actual appointment, right? So, and when I see them today, I'm going to give them a timeout. So because that's just.
I think
I'm
almost
really
had to use a phone.
I'm really interested in what you've just said. I feel the same. On our website, it's set up to go to calendly.com and then choose a slot, and then we confirm in writing manually. And there's an option to also email. There's an option to schedule a call, and there are options to start communicating on Google+. And I ask you, what do you feel about this? I mean, if you would like, for instance, as a visitor, as a human being, if you'd like me to change something about this, I'm interested in reaching this goal of making communication as easy and good as possible.
Yeah, well, the one thing that I found annoying about my experience yesterday was that I had to register with not register with the business that I'm going to go to today, but I actually had to register with the application that they used to schedule the appointment. And I found that a little bit of an annoyance, as opposed to where I can just kind of fill out the form and then schedule the appointment, and then that kind of automatically makes me a member. I just sign up first, create a username and a password, and verify that I have that email address, and then go back and log in, and then schedule the app. And I was just like I said, fortunately the service outweighed the annoyance of all that. So, and I couldn't do it on my phone. So I mean, it was if you don't, as long as the process, the end result, you don't need to, have all these different steps, then I think it's fine.
I've got something I'd like to add here.
Go ahead, Nathan.
Yeah, it's just that you've been talking about this, and you've been talking about scheduling, and there's something that came up courtesy of a course that I was involved with a while ago. It's a company called Wufoo, WUFOO, and I'm just looking at my site. Actually, if any of you want to get an idea of what this scheduling thing can do, my site, How to End Your Suffering, if you go to a couple of the tabs at the top, like one that says Work With Me, it's a scheduling piece of software. Like Wufoo will allow you to create custom interfaces that you can build right into your site. And it can really help you a lot with your scheduling, and you can set it up so that people can ask custom questions. You can create a list of things, like topics that you would like to address. You can give them a space where they can ask questions, and you just write out the parameters of whatever it is that you're going to offer as a service. And you can integrate the entire thing with the website. Really cool.
So it's wufoo.com, WWUFOO.com.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
wufoo.com. So in terms of this whole scheduling thing that we're talking about, yeah, highly recommend you use it, or at least have a look at it. You can do a number of integrations for free. Your site, maximum you can do is 3, I believe, and that's what I did. But you can use it for a variety of things, and it just suddenly hit me. Wait a second, I know something that could really help these folks. So there you go.
Thank you, Nathan. And
Welcome.
I'm looking at our clock here and realizing that we have again gone way over our 30 minutes, our planned 30 minutes. So just to recap, I would like to just kind of re-emphasize the piece that Jay mentioned, because I think that's a really good piece. Keep it as simple as possible for the user. And when we started talking about this initially, we were talking about what we can do using our phones or our tablets or whatever. And so if we, if there are step after step after step that people need to take, they're not going to take it. So it's always important, isn't it, to bear in mind the user experience. Never mind our experience. It needs to be about the user experience. So having said that, I think it's time for us to close off today, and we'll resume our conversation again next week at the same time. So this is Lola Ann signing off and thanking all of my participants for joining me this morning.